Yes, hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, friends. The end is nigh, and the good end, the end of the season that will bring a period of rest, transition, and hopefully growth. Yes, indeed, we got touched up by Manchester United away at Old Trafford in the Premier League last night, despite perhaps playing or being the better half in the first half of that game in terms of generic open play, but of course the inability to finish chances and ultimately the second half collapse really did encapsulate Chelsea's season. Not very good, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're discussing a second bid for a vital position already, which was really interesting, which I'm very excited to look into. Chelsea in for Alexander Mitrovic. Is this underwhelming or is this ideal? We'll make a case for that. So yeah, do bear with me. I'm going to talk you through it. And I do want to reference this Levi Colwill social media controversy. So yeah, lots to get into. Do bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Things will get better. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, because I'm going to be here for you throughout this transition and progress, development, evolution with Chelsea. And I thank all of you, or I'd encourage you to like the video. And if you like it, that little click, then I thank you. So Levi Colwill posted a photograph on Twitter of him and Billy Gilmour. Someone asked how he was doing, and he says, like, really good, mate, or something, and it's him partying. Now, understandably, this is a bit tone deaf, or, lack of the ability to read the room. Chelsea have just been absolutely battered, or are in the process of being battered, and he's out partying, saying he's feeling good. He is, of course, a Chelsea player, and he's pictured with young Billy Gilmour, formerly and only so recently formerly of Chelsea as well. So it's like two Chelsea academy boys laughing and having fun, enjoying life, while Chelsea lose a football match badly and are suffering as a club, and the fan base is suffering on social media. So it's not smart, and yes, someone really should have had a word with him. Maybe he's out drinking. You need to understand the context of Brighton have just qualified for Europa League, which is a gargantuan achievement for Brighton. It's absolutely incredible. They've both been playing in recent games. Billy's in the team now. They're celebrating. And maybe they were like, look, we're not going to or Levi's like, no, we're not going to let the Chelsea result get us down. Don't worry about it. And to be honest, it's not like we're having a final in everything's hanging in the balance. Chelsea have had a dismal season that's fizzling out. And to be honest, we're all just sick of it. If you can find it within you for it not to get you down, then I'd encourage you to do that for your own well-being. Now, Levi Colwill is rated incredibly highly by Chelsea Football Club and is not for sale. This social media post perhaps puts into question his dedication to his parent club. Does he have this ambition of coming back and playing for Chelsea and showing he can do it? Much like, the likes of Conor Gallagher is doing, his boy club. He's trying really hard. He wants to be a part of it. We may sell him. Either way, he's not doing anything bad for his career, Conor Gallagher. Playing well will either, get him consideration under Pochettino, or he will get more suitors for different clubs, and Chelsea are going to win out of all of it. But perhaps for an academy product like Levi, you'd maybe want some more dedication. He has got a lot of potential suitors that are reportedly being explored by his camp. When we say potential suitors, we're talking about big teams that want him, similar to Mason Mount. These similar sort of top tier clubs want Levi Colwill. Chelsea do not want to sell him. I mean, at the moment, he probably would like to go to the Arsenals or Manchester United, or even I saw Man City are interested in him. Guaranteed titles of a well-functioning club. Pending the investigation, of course. Or even just staying at Brighton, playing really well, where he's lauded and playing in Europe. We're nowhere near playing in Europe at the moment. But it's good for dedication. Of course, Chelsea, we don't even have like silly wages that we're offering youngsters anymore due to the new structured wage packet. Anyway, point being, he's got 2 years left on his deal as opposed to 1 like Mason Mount. Chelsea aren't going to sell him, and it will be up to the new coach in Maurizio Pochettino to convince him. Stay, be part of this, commit yourself, nail your colours to the mast, and prove your dedication to the Chelsea project, of which is a I can't talk today, is a really ambitious project. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. Before we talk about the bids and Mitrovic and stuff, I do want to, salute young Lewis Hall playing last night in lest we forget, 18 years old, man. He's, you say 21-year-olds are youngsters, of course they are, but 18 years old, an 18-year-old midfielder that we're farming out at left back to go and do a job at Old Trafford in the Premier League when they have something to play for and we don't, and he's our best player. Hot damn. That is incredible, both for good and bad reasons, of course. But yeah, he deserves a great deal of respect. He's a very understated character. He's quite chill, doesn't really say much, just goes about his business. And with that, he's just sort of quietly brilliant. And when we talk about these rebuilds for the future, these youngsters to be considered by Pochettino and indeed the hierarchy moving forward, you got Andre Santos, captain of the young Brazil team. Similarly, Cesare Casade, your Chukwuemekas, Levi Colwill, of course, is very young himself. All these guys that you feel like, you're going to build the future around. And, even people like Amari Hutchison, who's been much more underachieving in the Chelsea first team than Hall. But Hall has just always been great and been turned to for all the games against Man City, and and maybe that's done him a favour. Maybe the lack of hype, he will just sort of perform well and do really well. And here's to hoping, because he absolutely deserves it. And we know whether he'd stay at fullback or not, I don't know. But I saw a stat online that he's created more chances than Cucurella for Chelsea this season, and Cucurella has played like over 1,000 more minutes than Hall. Now, I do feel a bit bad for Cucurella. I'm not sure that's his profile, but maybe you say to Lewis, like, look, mate, we are going to sell Cucurella. We're going to take a massive hit on him. We're going to sell him for 40 million after buying him for 62. We're going to try and get 40 million. Do you know what I mean? Let's just say that and say, look, you have a chance here to be a proper Chelsea first teamer, challenging with Champions League winner Ben Chilwell for left wing back. Do you want to fully commit to this position? I know we know you're not a left back. You're a midfielder by trade. Sometimes left midfielder. If you can say, as a young 18-year-old who's already playing well in this position, you are happy to continue this role. Maybe he sign him on a new long-term deal and make the options on the left-hand side Chilwell and Hall, and then the options on the right-hand side Gusto, and Reece James. Let me know what you think down below. Let's move on. So, speaking of midfielders, we do need to sign a defensive midfielder, and Ugarte is, of course, one that's being talked about a lot and been referenced to Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano is talking about it a lot. Sport Witness writes this: on Thursday, MaFootball stated Chelsea are prepared to move forward to sign Sporting star Manuel Ugarte. The Blues will have to battle it out with PSG, who are willing to trigger his 60 million euros buyout clause. Friday's record states PSG have sent an official offer for 60 million euros, so they've triggered the clause, as it were, for the midfielder, and Chelsea will match this proposal. So both PSG and Chelsea have triggered the release clause of Ugarte, this report states. The Paris club will have to anticipate competition from the Premier League side, Chelsea, of course. It's stated that the latter have informed the 22-year-old's representative that they will table an offer with the Lions. We're the Lions, I guess? Following PSG's offer, it's claimed that the second official offer is from Chelsea, should arrive in the short term. With this, the West London club will not only match PSG's bid, but it could also start an auction for the Uruguay international when it comes to personal terms. I think 2 years ago, this guy cost Sporting €5 million, and 2 years later, he's costing 60 million. It's not quite the Enzo, which was like 12 million to 106 in 6 months, but in 2 years, that is an incredible profit margin. But you can see this kid's clearly being hyped massively. PSG want to sort out their midfield, as does Chelsea want a partner for Enzo Fernandez. So yes, potentially an auction will be started when it comes to personal terms. Now, this worries for me because Chelsea have got, like we've discussed at length, a incentivized wage structure and, of course, are out of Europe, out of the Champions League. Whereas PSG pay players a lot of money. They just do. They pay a lot of money, and, of course, they consistently have Champions League football to offer. Although the option to join the Ligue 1 sign excites the South American, he hasn't ruled out other offers. In fact, he even puts a move to the Premier League at the top of his preferences, which is in quotation marks, which is good to hear because, of course, the Premier League is considered the highest level. And I reckon there is an element of, if you go to PSG, you're just going to win the league every season in a lesser ranked league. That might be good. You might feel like, yeah, I'm going to stack up trophies, but I don't want to, denigrate or disrespect what is still a high level of football. But I mean, like, come on. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, neither Chelsea nor PSG have started talks with Ugarte. Is it Ugarte? Over terms. Sorry, I think they've spelt his name wrong here. So this is not me saying it wrong, I don't think. Anyway, the salary conditions could be decisive, considering the Premier League would be a better option sporting-wise. Well, there you go. PSG will absolutely be able to offer silly wages, which at the moment, Chelsea won't offer silly wages. Let me know what you think. Manuel Ugarte, Chelsea prepared to... offer the release clause, trigger release clause. They see this guy as seemingly like the number one target at the moment for the Enzo partner. We look like we've cooled off on Romeo Lavia a little bit from relegated Southampton. And from what we've spoken about in recent videos, Chelsea have seemingly upset Declan Rice and his family. So, yeah. So, let me know what you think about Ugarte. I mean, he's going to be cheaper, isn't he? And maybe we've had the thumbs up from Poch, because despite the no announcement from Poch will be working. He'll be working in the background already. He would have started work immediately when he agreed generally to join. And the reason why there's been no Poch announcement is because why would you, well, this is speculation here, but why would you want to soil this moment of rebirth and clean slate and renewal with what's going on at Chelsea on the pitch? Imagine if we announced Poch 3 games ago and then we just watched terrible player results and player performances, and it just sort of muddies the good feeling. You can snap off the season after the final whistle on Newcastle. Go, right, that was terrible, but you know what? Let's look forward. Poch is your manager. I get it, and if you have to understand that. Anyway, of course, Chelsea will look at a striker as well. We've been referenced one Serbia international in Dusan Vlahovic. Of course, Juventus have had their points deducted now after back and forth with the authorities, and they have not qualified for Champions League, and the money they would have wanted from the Champions League qualification they can get through the sale of Vlahovic, which they may well sell. So we've considered him, but Simon Phillips, Cy Phillips, who has connections at Chelsea, has claimed that Chelsea are considering Alexander Mitrovic, of course, of Fulham, a 28-year-old Serbian. Many of you roll your eyes and go, oh god, here we go, it would have been good, mate. It's sort of like, people always thought, oh, he could replace Costa, he's got that Costa vibe about him, and he was always seemed a bit younger than he was. When he was 24, people thought he was 30, and they're like, oh, he's only 24, yeah, he could replace he could replace Diego Costa. He's got that, direct, bullying grit about him. He is going to turn 29 in September, the middle of September on the money. So, yes, he's a good goal scorer. So I'm looking at his scouting report now. He's in the 99th percentile for 3 metrics. One is penalty kicks, so we don't worry about that. One really interestingly, which is quite a niche thing to be good at, is shots that lead to another shot attempt. So in the box, he'll lash a ball really quickly, even if it's a low quality chance. That often leaves the ball in a position to be shot at again. And similarly, shots that lead to another goal scoring shot. So, so basically he doesn't mess about in the box. He takes chances really quickly, which either results in a goal or results in someone else scoring. Doesn't pass offside, takes a load of shots, nearly 4 per game. Of course, playing for Fulham as well. Fulham are quite an offensive side at times under Silva, but not always have been. And look, he puts in the grit. He can win penalty kicks. His XG's in the 90th percentile. He still gets back in defence. He's built a shit house. Do you know what I mean? His goal creating actions are good, and he's got about a goal every other game consistently. I'll make the case for Mitrovic. This is a little bit hopeful, but I do really, really believe in Pochettino's ability to coach strikers. And I know the best example, of course, is Harold Kane. And he got him when he was young. He pulled him through when he was young and imbued him with belief. You hear people like Raheem Sterling talk about Armando Broja and how this kid is different and how this kid has got the belief. Simon Johnson of The Athletic wrote about how Chelsea believe this kid could be one of the best strikers in the world. If you're not buying a really elite entering prime striker, this kind of profile is probably very good. A 29-year-old Mitro that can sort of lead the line right now, and he can sort of teach. Because, Broja is a bit of a hard nut as well and likes to get amongst it. You kind of just need that guy to slot in for the moment, score some goals, do the dirty work, play in the profile of a centre forward, and say what you want about Mitro. He is a centre forward. He is a striker. He's not a Havertz. He's not a washed up Aubameyang. He's not a Felix or Pulisic down the middle. He's a striker. And Datro Fofana is clearly considered to be too raw. So maybe you buy Mitrovic, and he's the perfect bridge for the development of Broja. Let me know what you think. I'll be very, very keen to learn your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing. Of course, at least one video a day, so make sure you hit the bell when you do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon. Thanks for joining me. Peace.